very, very,
But we're recording. We're recording. Okay.
Right?
very, very light stuff still. It's not halachic, but more all kind of ideas how people should behave or not behave. Because the Mishnah in back in 20a
22A.
20, yeah, we are in 22a, but just the reference is the Mishnah that says in 20a 3, it says a foolish pietist and a cunning evildoer and a woman, ascetic woman, and wounds of the ascetics. These are the runners of the world, which we'll see now what he's talking about. We will be surprised to see, because we will think that women, this is we are at 20A2.
22A, Harav.
Sorry?
22A.
22A2, no?
That I'm not sure.
22A2, this is what's written by me, in the middle of the second column, talking about a woman, which is ascetic woman. Have you got it?
Yeah.
So what is this? There is a big criticism of this woman, which we would think that we'll see this kind of women, that we would think that we should praise her, that she's over pious, and so on. Here, look at quite a bold statement. Tanu Rabbanan, the Rebbe taught us in the Braita, Ptula Tzalyanit, a prayerful maiden, and a neighborly widow, and a minor whose months are not completed. These are runners of the world, which of course doesn't make any understanding and any sense. And the Gemorra is trying to explain it. So the first one, talking about a prayerful maiden. What is a prayerful maiden? The Gemorra asks, it seems to be that there is a criticism about a woman, a maiden, which she prays too much. What's wrong with it? On the contrary, the Gemorra asks, V'amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Lamadnu yirat chet meptula. We have learned the fear of Hashem, fear of sin, from a prayerful maiden, which means she should be praised. She's praised by Rabbi Yochanan. And also, on the second point, which was talking about a widow, a neighborly widow, that we said criticism that these two women are destroying the world. We had a statement from Rabbi Yochanan that he said, and receipt of reward from a neighborly widow. So we see that Rabbi Yochanan praised these two women, a woman to praise so much, and the widow, which is very involved with the neighbors. What's wrong with it? So the Gemorra explains. The first point about the maiden prayerful woman, the Gemorra said, the Rabbi Yochanan, we are talking now in the last sentence in the paragraph. For Rabbi Yochanan, now which we turn the page, Rabbi Yochanan once overheard a certain maiden who fell on her face and said in a prayer, Ribono shel Olam, Master of the universe, Barata Gan Eden or Barata Gehenom, you created Gan Eden, Garden of Eden, and you created Gehenom. You've created righteous, and you created wicked. What does it mean? He said, you created the righteous to inherit a share on Gan Eden, and you created the wicked to receive a share of Gehenom. I pray to you, that's what this woman says, may it be your will that men don't stumble into sin because of me. So this was a pious woman that she was worrying that people must be that she was a beautiful young woman, and that she was praying that people should not stumble into sin because of her. So this is why Rabbi Yochanan praised her. And we'll see the continuation here. There are a lot of interesting statement which we would not expect it, but there is criticism on one side that women, if they over praying, it probably means that they neglect their duties, what they have to do, maybe at home and so on. But Rabbi Yochanan, he actually prays because he heard a woman, she's what she was worried that people should not come to sin because of her. And continues about the widow, which she said before. There is here another point about we have learned the seat of reward from a widow. What is with a widow? A similar thing that happened with Rabbi Yochanan. He experienced there was a woman, a certain widow in whose neighborhood was a synagogue. Although that there was a synagogue in her neighborhood, nevertheless, every day she would come and pray at the study hall of Rabbi Yochanan. And Rabbi Yochanan said to her, he asked her, my daughter, is there not a synagogue in your neighborhood? Why do you have to come long way to pray in my shul? Why do you trouble yourself to come here to pray? Amra lei, she said to him, Rabbi, my master, do I not have reward for the extra steps that I take to come here to pray? So what we see then, the exalted level of piety that can be achieved by maidens who pray and widows who act in neighborly fashion. Why does the Breitart or the Gemorra ask, why did we criticize this maiden woman that prays or the widow, if we see such great ways how these two women behaved. So the Gemorra now tries to explain that this writer which criticize these women is there are very special examples which they are criticized. כי כאמר כגון יוחני בר רטיבה. When the writer speaks, women who destroy the world is like Yochni, the daughter of Retivi. What was with her? So the footnote explains that this woman, the Yochani, she was a widow, or she was like a magician. Sorceresses. When a woman was about to give birth, Yochani would cast a spell to keep the womb from opening. When the woman's pain became severe, Yochani would declare, "Let me go and pray for you. Perhaps my prayers will be accepted." Yochani would then leave and remove the spell, and the child will be born, creating the illusion that Yochani was a pious woman whose prayers were effective. One time, Yochani left a worker in her house when she went on one of her visits to women about to give birth. The worker heard the charms used by Yochani to keep the womb closed, rattling in a closed jar as the child thrashes about in the mother womb. The worker removed the cover of the jar, allowing the charms to escape. The child was born. And it was thus discovered that Yochani was in fact a sorceress. In other words, she was a magician. Thus, we see that women will sometimes use prayer and helpfulness to mask their sinful behavior. And it is such women that the Baraita characterizes the winners of the world. The same applies to men. And continue to read the note. Applies to men who act in such a manner. The Baraita, however, specifies women because such behavior is more common among women, so said one of the commentators. The Baraita's criticism is leveled only at those women who display piety are insincere. Of course, this is not meant to criticize all women. Heaven forbid, however, that any criticism should be directed against a woman's sincere display of piety. There are in fact many women whose meticulousness and fear of sin exceed that of men. So what the Gemorra want to show, not always if you see a behavior of a person, can be a woman, can be a man, not always that are praiseworthy. There are some people just acting to show off. And on this kind of people, then the Gemorra was saying they are ruining the world. To the public, it might be seen, oh, this is a righteous woman, she prays a lot, and whoever. Yes, but could be that this is only a show. Then the next point, which talking about a minor whose months are not complete, which also counted as one of a ruler of the world. What is this about? The Gemorra says, in Babylon, this interpreted the Talmid Chacham Aved Berabotav. It refers to a Torah scholar who rebels against his teachers. In other words, we're not talking about a small child. We are talking about, this is an example, talking about a Talmid Chochem, a Torah scholar, who actually rebels against his teachers, young, and claims to be such a great and so on that knows more than his teachers and so on. So this is the continuation. Also, the Gemorra presents another interpretation, which this was meant. Rabba Amar refers very similar that to a student who did not reach the level of competence necessary to issue halachic decisions, yet he issues halachic decisions nonetheless. So this is a person that is not capable to issue halachic decisions, which means he's not a scholar, he didn't know, he's young, but he dares to give halachic decision, and this can be very destructive, like Rabavuna said, in the name of Ravuna, in the name of Rav, there is a verse that it's written, for many victims as she fell, and mighty are all she has slain. For many victims as she fell, referring to a Torah scholar who did not reach the level of competence necessary to render halachic decisions, yet issues halachic decisions nonetheless, because obviously, if he's not competent to give halachic decisions, and he does, so probably he gives the wrong decisions, and this is ruining the world. And so this on one side. Then there is something which, on the other side, which the statement refers, what he says, mighty all she slain, says the Gemorra, this refers to a Torah scholar who has reached the level of competence necessary to issue halachic decisions, and yet he does not issue halachic decisions, which means he feels that he is not capable and he is too humble and so on. So there is a criticism, both sides. Criticism to a scholar who is not capable and is not worthy to issue halachic decisions. This is on one side. On the other hand, this is coming to encourage a scholar that he is competent, that he shouldn't feel like humble and close himself. He should use his knowledge to give halachic decisions. These two people, the one who is not competent to give a decision and he does, and the one that is competent and he doesn't, though both of them are ruining the world. This is the criticism against these two. We turn the page, 22:2. The Gemorra asks, what is the point when a scholar should be considered sufficiently mature to issue halachic decisions? Because before we're talking about somebody that is not capable. So the Gemorra says, is there is any age that we should encourage the person to give halachic decisions? And the Gemorra says, until 40 years. You know, when he reaches the age of 40, this is a age which is encourage the person, which means, of course, that he learned, and 40 years, the comment brings, this is the time that a person attains understanding, ability to make proper deductions from the knowledge he has acquired. Until the age of 40, however, one should attend Torah scholars to learn from them and not issue decisions. You're talking about you need a maturity to be able to give answers and halachic decisions. But the Gemorra asks, a Rabbah, the scholar, the Amora Rabbah, issued many halachic decisions and he lived for only 40 years, which means that he issued these decisions before 40. Obviously, he issued a halachic decision before reaching the age of 40. The Gemorra says it is different where they are equal. What does it mean are equal? So a scholar, the commentary says, a scholar younger than 40 may issue halachic decisions if he is equal to the city's senior scholars in Torah wisdom. So there are two explanations. Either the person that is able and knowledgeable, and this is what was Rabbah was, that even when you are younger than 40, if is scholarship and knowledge equal people who are older, or even another, that it says, because Rabbah was in a place that were no older people than him who may give halachic decisions. So therefore, he was the one that gave halachic decisions. So what is the lesson or what the Gemorra want to say? That people, scholars, their criticism, if a person is not capable and he resume a kind of name or tries to be that is great and so on. This can be on one end destructive because he may issue directives which are wrong. On the same time, there is a criticism where a person is capable and he knows he should not keep it to himself. He should use your knowledge, his knowledge, to be able to give decisions. Now, talking about other criticism on the part of the Mishnah, which says the wounds of the ascetics are runners of the world. The Gemorra brings all different ideas here. Tanu Rabbanan. Shiva Proshinan. There are 7 types of insincere ascetics. Parush Shichni, which the Gemorra explains the next couple of lines. It means this one who acts in the manner of Shem, who circumcises himself for ulterior motives. The story which we read about Shem when the sons of, Shem, Hamor, his son, kidnapped Dinah, and then they wanted to get mixed with the sons of Jacob, and sons of Jacob's, Shimon and Levi.
Hey, Benjamin,
It said,
it's Kurtstag here. I can hear you now, so just chat with me like you would with a friend. Whether you've got questions, ideas to bounce around, or want to switch languages, I'm all ears.
who is talking?
Benji, I think if you can mute, I don't know how we're going to mute Benji. But maybe it's okay now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whatever to John. I see it there, but I can't see his face. Is he
Switched off the
able
video.
to um, in to listen? I'm not sure. Maybe his daughter is not there to help him. So,
Some of the top
Shem,
movies coming out in 2025 include Mickey 17, The Gorge, and Captain America Brave New World. If you're into psychological...
Okay,
is it John?
I muted Benji. Okay, it's fine. But I muted Benji. I think there was something coming from,
When she's done.
yeah, so I just muted Benji. It's fine, man.
Okay, so remember the story with Shem, that they kidnapped, that they wanted to kill Dinah and so on, and they, Shimon and Levi, they, so to speak, said, okay, if you circumcise yourself, then you can marry our children, our daughters, and so on. And they did the circumcision. As they circumcised themselves, the people of the city of Shem, all of them did it, and this was for ulterior motives. So this is something that obviously not right. The next thing which is criticized, Parush Nakfi, Parush Kidai, a bloodletting ascetic. What about him? This is one who knocks his feet against stones as he walks in a display of false humility. You know, it's a person that he shows, it's for show. He wants to show that he's human that is no enough, that is shows humility, but it's not. It's insincerity. The other one is also another, the Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak talking about one who lets blood against the walls with which he collides because he pretends to walk piously with his eyes closed. Person, there is all kind of criticism. You show yourself you are such a chassid, such a piety. You walk in the street, knocking your head in the wall because you don't want to look on women or whatever. There is a lot of criticism here. The other one is Rabbi Bar Shila, one who bent like a pestle when he walks. All kind of that showing something to show that they are such pious and so, so humble and so on, which is not sincere. Then another, I'm talking now in the second column, in the second passage, in the second column, another one who, a person, a parush, somebody that say, the ascetic, what he say, my obligation, what is my obligation? And I will, it is like he says, well, what's wrong with that? The Gemorra said it. What's wrong if a person says, what is my obligation? In other, which means he's actually want to do the right thing. Why we criticize him? So the Gemorra said, rather he says, what further obligation is there for me that I have not done? And I will do it. The implication is that he considers himself perfect in his observance and like looking, what must I add to what I'm already doing so much? What must I add more? And then the writer concludes, ascetic out of love or out of fear. This is what there is a commentary here. Now it's the person does it because he out of love. We say, what does it mean? What's wrong with that? Or out of fear. אמר לאביי ורבא לתנא. Rabbi Abaye told, don't teach in your Braita out of love of reward and ascetic out of fear, punishment among the types of ascetic that are criticized. He said, this, maybe it is not a perfect way how to serve God because natural love or fear of a punishment. But nevertheless, we don't really criticize the person that does mitzvahs, observe for ulterior motives. For instance, דם ערבי דם רב, לעולם יעסוק אדם התורה במצוות, אפילו שלא לשמה. A person should always occupy himself in Torah and study and performance of the mitzvot, even not for its own sake, even for ulterior motives. Why? Because from doing so, not for its own sake, one eventually comes to do it for its own sake, which is called מתוך שלא לשמה, בא לשמה. Could be that initially a person does things for ulterior motives, but still it has got value because it will bring him to do things eventually for its own pure thing. So that's interesting. how the attitude of rabbis. On one hand, the rabbis are criticizing people who are just doing things for show, not they're insincere. On the other hand, if a person is sincere, but he does it for ulterior motive, this is, although it's not the most which is praised, but it's appreciated because it will lead to a proper motives as well. Then the Gemorra cites another statement regarding people who make insincere demonstration of outward piety. Amar Rav Bar Yitzchak. The hidden thoughts are hidden from other people, while the revealed actions are revealed to others. But he says, to the great court of God, in other words, the heavenly court, everything is revealed, and it will be punished those who wrap themselves in cloaks fringed with tzitzis as an insincere display of piety. So this is another thing that people just do things for show off. And the Gemorra finishes this part, which is a very known story that King Yanai, he was a king that the Pharisees didn't like him, but he said to his wife, "Don't afraid of the Prushim, it's the Pharisees, and not from those who are not Pharisees. Rather fear only the pretenders." What is pretenders? People are doing things, pretend to do the right thing. They are not actually sincere. This is said to her, be aware of. Because the pretenders, in one way, they look like the Prushim, the Pharisees, who are really not pious, but are really not pious. They only pretend, but the actions are the wicked action of Zimri, and they seek reward like the righteous Pinchas. So this is the message that Yanai, although that he was not in full agreement with the Prushim and the Pharisees, but he said, "This is not my problem." He told his wife, "The problem is only people who are acting like Pharisees, like tzaddikim, like righteous, like we saw before, doing all kind of things which might show that they are so righteous, but they are insincere and it's false. This is what you have to be aware of. This is the message which goes in all time, that we mustn't just be impressed with people who are doing things that might be what we see, they're trying to put a show. We need only to look at the sincerity of a person, not just what it seems to do or make things to be considered that is a pious. We should be aware for those that are, I should say, that swim, that there are people who pretend, the pretenders, that they may do things on one day to show off they are righteous, but when nobody sees them, they act in the most terrible way, like Zimri, that he was the one of immoral and so on. So this brings us to our next Mishnah. And as we said, next week, please God, instead of having the Shiur on Thursday night, which is be Purim, we will have it Wednesday night at this time, 8:30, and we still will have the Chumash, the Mishlei Shiur on Tuesday night. Remember, it is 8:45, not 8:30, 8:45 on Tuesday night. Hopefully to see you all next week. Have a good Shabbos. And we
Shabbos,
should
Harav. Thank you very much.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We are here, good news.
Bezrat Tov, yeah. All the best, Rav. Bye. Bye, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Bye, everyone. Good Shabbos.